Overthinking. It's the thief that steals your peace, clouds your mind, and robs you of the present moment. You lie awake replaying conversations. You worry about tomorrow before it arrives. You analyze every decision until you're paralyzed. Your mind becomes a prison, and you can't find the key to escape. Welcome back, seekers of peace. What if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, Buddha discovered not one, but 10 profound teachings that can completely transform your relationship with overthinking? 10 timeless principles that don't just manage the chaos in your mind, but actually dissolve it at its root. Today, we're exploring 10 Buddhist teachings specifically designed to help you stop overthinking and find the inner peace you've been desperately seeking. These aren't just concepts to understand. They're practices to live, wisdom to embody, keys to unlock the mental prison you've been trapped in. Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." But he also taught us how to master the mind, how to work with it instead of being controlled by it, how to find peace even in the midst of mental chaos. Are you ready to transform your mind? Let's begin. Teaching 1. Live in the present moment. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. This is perhaps Buddha's most essential teaching for overthinkers, and here's why it's so powerful. Overthinking cannot exist in the present moment. Think about it carefully. When you're truly fully present with what's happening right now, where is the overthinking? It's not there. It can't be there, because overthinking requires you to leave the present and travel mentally to the past or future. There's a story about a Zen student who came to his master complaining about his racing mind. "Master, I cannot find peace. My thoughts never stop. They jump from past to future, analyzing everything, worrying about everything. How do you remain so calm?" The master picked up his teacup and said, "Right now I'm drinking tea. When I drink tea, I only drink tea. I don't think about yesterday's tea or tomorrow's tea. I experience this tea, this moment, this warmth in my hands, this taste on my tongue. When I walk, I only walk. When I eat, I only eat. When I'm with you, I'm only with you." This is how peace is found, not by controlling thoughts, but by being fully here. The student asked, "But how do I stay present when my mind keeps wandering?" The master smiled. "You notice when it wanders, and you gently bring it back, 1,000 times a day if needed." This is the practice. Your overthinking mind lives in 2 places, yesterday and tomorrow, replaying past mistakes, imagining future disasters, but your actual life is only happening in one place right now. This breath, this moment, this is where peace lives. Practice this today. Whenever you catch yourself overthinking, ask, "Where is my mind?" If it's in the past or future, acknowledge it. "My mind has time traveled." Then use your senses to return to now. What do you see? Hear? Feel? Your senses only exist in the present. They're your anchor back to reality, back to this moment, back to peace. Teaching 2. Let go of what you cannot control. Buddha taught, "You only lose what you cling to." And most of your overthinking is an attempt to control things that are fundamentally outside your control. You replay conversations trying to change what happened. You worry about outcomes trying to prevent bad things. You analyze other people's behavior trying to predict what they'll do. But here's the truth. You control your effort, your response, your attitude. That's it. You don't control outcomes, other people, the future, or the past. And trying to control these things through overthinking is like trying to stop rain by thinking about it. It doesn't work. It just exhausts you. There's a famous Taoist story that Buddha would have appreciated. A farmer's horse ran away. His neighbors said, "What terrible luck." The farmer replied simply, "Maybe." The next day, the horse returned with 3 wild horses. "What wonderful luck," the neighbors exclaimed. The farmer said, "Maybe." His son tried to tame one of the wild horses and broke his leg. "What terrible luck." "Maybe." Then the army came recruiting young men for war but passed over the son because of his injury. What wonderful luck. Maybe. The farmer understood something profound. He couldn't control what happened. He could only respond to what did happen. So he didn't waste energy trying to predict, prevent, or overthink outcomes. He stayed present, adaptable, accepting. When you notice yourself overthinking, ask, is this something I can actually control? If yes, ask, what's one action I can take right now? Then take it or schedule it and let it go. If it's outside your control, practice saying, I release control of this. I cannot manage this outcome through thinking. I will respond wisely to whatever happens. This doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. Because now your energy goes toward what actually matters, how you show up, not how things turn out. Teaching 3. Embrace simplicity. Buddha taught, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. The more complicated your life, your possessions, your commitments, your mental landscape, the more you have to think about, the more you overthink. Look at a Buddhist monk. Simple robes, simple bowl, simple dwelling, not because they're giving up on life, but because they've discovered something profound. Simplicity creates space. Space in your schedule, space in your environment, space in your mind. And in that space, peace can finally breathe. Your overthinking often comes from complexity, too many choices to analyze, too many possessions to maintain, too many commitments to juggle, too many opinions to consider. Your mind becomes like a computer with too many programs running at once. It overheats. It slows down. It crashes. There's a teaching about a wealthy merchant who visited a monastery. He was amazed at how peaceful the monks were. He asked one monk, how do you maintain such peace with so little? The monk replied, because we have so little. Every possession requires attention, maintenance, worry. Every commitment requires energy. Every choice requires deliberation. We keep only what serves our practice. This creates space for peace to grow. The merchant realized he'd spent his whole life adding things, thinking they'd bring happiness. But they'd only brought more to worry about, more to overthink. Practice simplicity this week. Not by giving everything away, but by asking, what can I release that no longer serves me? Maybe it's belongings you don't use. Maybe it's commitments you've outgrown. Maybe it's relationships that drain you. Maybe it's the constant consumption of information, news, social media, that gives your mind endless material to overthink. Simplify your environment, and you simplify your mind. Create space externally, and space appears internally. This is where peace lives, not in the absence of everything, but in the presence of only what matters. Teaching 4. Thoughts are just thoughts. Buddha taught something revolutionary. Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts. But once mastered, no one can help you as much. The key word here is unguarded, not the thoughts themselves, but how you relate to them. Overthinkers believe their thoughts. Every worry feels like truth. Every negative scenario feels like prediction. Every anxious thought feels like reality. But Buddha taught, thoughts are mental events, not facts. They're like clouds passing through the sky. Some dark, some light, but all temporary, all just weather passing through. There's a beautiful story about a student who came to Buddha in distress. Master, I have terrible thoughts. Thoughts I'm ashamed of. Thoughts that prove I'm a bad person. Buddha asked, if someone leaves luggage at your house, is it yours? No, the student replied. Then when thoughts arrive in your mind uninvited, are they you? The student paused. No. I suppose not. Exactly. Thoughts come and go. Some are visitors you welcome. Some are visitors you didn't invite. But you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness noticing them. This distinction changes everything. When you think I'm going to fail, that's not truth. That's a thought about potentially failing. When you think everyone thinks I'm stupid, that's not reality. That's a thought about what others might think. When you think I can't handle this, that's not fact. That's a thought expressing fear. Practice noting your thoughts. That's the worry thought. That's the self-judgment thought. That's the catastrophizing thought. This creates distance. You're no longer fused with the thought. You're observing it. And what you can observe, you're free from. Buddha taught that thoughts have no power except what you give them. Stop believing every thought, and overthinking loses its grip. You don't have to fight thoughts. You don't have to make them stop. You just have to stop treating them as truth. Teaching 5. Use your breath as an anchor. Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. Buddha taught that when the mind overthinks, the breath becomes shallow and rapid. But when you consciously slow and deepen your breath, the mind follows. It must follow. The body and mind are not separate. Here's something practical you can do right now. When you notice overthinking starting, place one hand on your heart. Feel it beating. Feel yourself alive here now. Then breathe. In for 4 counts, hold for 4, out for 6, just 3 times. This interrupts the overthinking pattern. It brings you back to your body, back to now, back to something real instead of the imaginary scenarios your mind was creating. There's a teaching about a monk who was asked, "What do you do when anxiety arises? When your mind starts racing?" He replied, "I breathe, consciously, deliberately. I follow the breath in, I follow the breath out. I count them if I need to. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, and somewhere around the 10th breath, I realize I'm no longer anxious. Not because the problem disappeared, but because I've anchored myself in reality instead of in thought." Your breath is always with you, always available, always effective. It requires no equipment, no preparation, no perfect conditions. Just attention, just presence, just the willingness to return to this most basic, most essential act, breathing. Make this your practice. 3 conscious breaths when you wake up, 3 before each meal, 3 before you sleep, and 3 whenever you notice overthinking. You're not trying to fix anything. You're just coming home to your body, to this moment, to what's real. And in that coming home, overthinking naturally fades. Not because you fought it, but because you chose presence over mental time travel. Teaching 6. Trust in impermanence. This too shall pass. Buddha's teaching on impermanence is one of his most liberating for overthinkers. Because what are you overthinking about? Usually something you're afraid won't change, or something you're afraid will change. But everything changes. Everything. This is not philosophy. This is observable fact. The difficult situation you're in, it will change. The pain you're feeling, it will shift. The problem that seems overwhelming, it will transform. Even your thoughts themselves, the very overthinking you're caught in, it changes moment by moment. No thought is permanent. No emotion lasts forever. Everything is in constant flux. There's a profound story about a king who asked his wise advisors to give him something that would make him happy when he was sad and humble when he became too proud. They gave him a ring engraved with 4 words, "This too shall pass." When he was celebrating victory, he'd look at the ring and remember, "This won't last forever, stay humble." When he was drowning in defeat, he'd look at the ring and remember, "This won't last forever, have hope." This teaching works in 2 directions. When you're overthinking something difficult, remember, this is temporary. This intensity will not last. This situation will shift. You've survived every difficult moment in your life so far. You'll survive this one too. It will pass. When you're overthinking something good, trying to hold on to it, control it, afraid of losing it, remember, this is temporary. Trying to make it permanent creates suffering. Instead, be fully present with it now. Knowing its temporary nature makes it precious. Practice this. When overthinking starts, ask yourself, in 5 years, will this matter? Often the answer is no. Even if the answer is yes, ask, will this worry help? Again, usually no. Then ask, what if I trust that this will pass? What if I trust that I'll handle whatever comes? This trust in impermanence, in change, in your own resilience, This releases the desperate need to overthink everything, because you know, whatever this is, it's temporary. And you're okay. You've always been okay. You'll always be okay. Teaching 7. Practice non-judgment. Buddha taught when you realize nothing lacks, the whole world belongs to you. But overthinkers are constantly judging. This is good, that's bad. This should be different. That shouldn't have happened. This judgment creates endless mental loops. Because when you judge something as bad, your mind tries to fix it through thinking. And when you judge yourself for overthinking, you're overthinking about your overthinking. Non-judgment doesn't mean you approve of everything. It means you first accept what is, without adding a layer of opinion. It's raining. Not, it shouldn't be raining, I hate rain, just it's raining. You made a mistake. Not, I'm so stupid, I always mess up. Just, I made a mistake. Your mind is overthinking. Not, I shouldn't be overthinking, something's wrong with me. Just, overthinking is happening right now. There's a story of a student who told his master, I'm a terrible meditator. My mind wanders constantly. Everyone else seems peaceful, but I can't stop thinking. The master asked, Are you aware that your mind wanders? Yes, the student replied. Then you're not a terrible meditator. You're a meditator who notices when the mind wanders. That noticing is the practice. The judgment that it's bad creates suffering. The noticing without judgment creates awareness. When you stop judging your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences, something remarkable happens. The intensity decreases. Without judgment fueling it, without resistance making it stronger, it just is what it is. And what is can more easily change than what you're fighting against. Practice this, when you notice overthinking, instead of I shouldn't be overthinking, try overthinking. Ga's present right now. Instead of I'm such a mess, try this is a difficult moment. Instead of this is terrible, try this is uncomfortable. Remove the judgment. Stay with the fact. Let it be without adding story, opinion, or resistance. This simple shift creates enormous space for peace. Teaching 8. Cultivate compassion for yourself. Buddha taught, You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. Yet overthinkers are often their own harshest critics. Every mistake becomes evidence of unworthiness. Every flaw gets magnified. Every struggle confirms the belief that something's fundamentally wrong. But Buddha taught radical self-compassion. Treat yourself as you would treat a dear friend struggling with the same issues. Would you berate them? Tell them they're not good enough. Focus only on their flaws. No, you'd offer understanding, patience, encouragement. The same kindness you freely give others, you must learn to give yourself. There's a teaching about a monk who was struggling with self-judgment. He told Buddha, I keep making the same mistakes. I'm not progressing. So I'm failing. Buddha asked, If a child learning to walk falls down, do you say the child is failing? Or do you say the child is learning? The monk replied, Learning, of course. Buddha smiled. Then why do you treat yourself differently? You are learning. Every mistake is part of learning. Be as patient with yourself as you would be with that child. Your overthinking often comes from fear. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of judgment. But when you have genuine compassion for yourself, when you can say, I'm struggling right now and that's okay. I'm doing my best with what I know, the fear loses its power. You don't need to overthink every decision, because you trust yourself to handle whatever outcome arises. You don't need to replay every mistake, because you know mistakes are part of being human. Practice speaking to yourself kindly. When you notice overthinking, instead of, what's wrong with me? Try, I'm anxious right now, and that's understandable. Instead of, I should be over this by now, try, I'm healing at my own pace. Instead of, why can't I just stop thinking? Try, my mind is trying to protect me, even though I don't need this protection right now. Compassion doesn't solve everything instantly, but it creates the space where healing can happen, where peace can grow. Teaching 9. Understand the nature of suffering. Buddha's first noble truth. Life contains suffering. But here's what most people miss. Buddha taught that while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Pain is what happens. Suffering is the story you tell about what happens. Your overthinking is suffering you're creating through mental elaboration. Someone criticizes you. That's the pain, brief and passing. But then your mind takes over. They're right, I am terrible. Everyone probably thinks this. I'll never succeed. Why do I always mess up? That's the suffering. The hours, days, sometimes years of mental anguish you create from a momentary event. Buddha taught that suffering comes from 3 mental habits: craving, wanting things to be different; aversion, rejecting what is; and ignorance, not seeing reality clearly. All 3 fuel overthinking. You crave certainty, so you overthink trying to predict outcomes. You have aversion to discomfort, so you overthink trying to avoid it. You're ignorant of the fact that thinking about something doesn't change it, so you think and think and think. There's a story about a man shot by an arrow. When the doctor arrived, the man said, "Wait, before you remove the arrow, I need to know who shot it. What kind of wood is it made from? What type of feathers? Who made it?" Buddha used this story to teach. While you're busy overthinking the details, you're still suffering. The practical action is to remove the arrow, not to analyze it endlessly. Understand this, your overthinking is not solving problems. It's creating suffering. The actual problem might be real, but the hours you spend thinking about it, that's optional suffering. Practice catching yourself. Am I solving this? Or am I suffering about this? If you're just suffering, choose differently. Take action if action is possible. Accept if action isn't possible. But stop suffering through overthinking about things you cannot change. Teaching 10. Practice daily meditation. Buddha's final teaching in our list is the foundation of all others. Meditate daily. Not because you're trying to stop thinking, but because you're training your mind to observe thoughts without being controlled by them. Meditation is the gym where you build mental strength. Every time you sit in meditation, your mind will wander. This is guaranteed. This is not failure. This is exactly what's supposed to happen. Because the practice isn't to have no thoughts. The practice is to notice when you've wandered and gently return. This simple act, repeated thousands of times, trains your mind to not be swept away by every thought that arises. There's a teaching about a student who told Buddha, "I've been meditating for months, but my mind still wanders constantly. I'm not making progress." Buddha replied, "Every time your mind wanders and you bring it back, you're building strength. A blacksmith doesn't shape metal by heating it once. He heats it, pounds it, heats it again, pounds it again. Your mind is the same. Every return to presence is a strengthening. Your mind doesn't wander less. You notice it sooner. That's progress. Start small. Just 5 minutes each morning. Sit comfortably. Focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, notice without judgment and return to the breath. That's it. That's the entire practice. Don't try to empty your mind. Don't try to achieve some special state. Just sit, breathe, notice, return thousands of times. This builds the mental muscle that will serve you every moment of your day. Your overthinking has been practiced for years, maybe decades. It's a deep groove in your mind. Meditation creates new grooves, new patterns, new possibilities, not overnight. But drop by drop, breath by breath, moment by moment, your relationship with thinking changes. You become the sky watching clouds instead of the cloud being tossed by wind. You become the ocean watching waves instead of the wave being thrown around. This is freedom, and it starts with 5 minutes a day. These aren't just concepts to understand. They're practices to live, wisdom to embody every single day. You don't need to master all 10 immediately. Start with 1. Maybe it's returning to the present moment throughout your day. Maybe it's 3 conscious breaths when overthinking starts. Maybe it's 5 minutes of meditation each morning. Pick one practice and commit to it this week. Buddha taught the mind is everything. What you think, you become. But he also taught that you have the power to work with your mind instead of being controlled by it. Your overthinking doesn't define you. It's just a habit. And habits can change. Every moment you choose presence over mental time travel, you're strengthening peace. Every time you let a thought pass without believing it, you're building freedom. Every breath you take consciously, you're returning home to yourself. The peace you seek isn't somewhere else. It's not in the future when everything's perfect. It's not dependent on circumstances aligning exactly right. It's here, beneath the overthinking, waiting for you to notice it. It's always been here. You just forgot while you were lost in thought. So remember these teachings. Return to them when your mind races. Practice them when you feel overwhelmed. Live them when you want peace. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently, gradually, with patience and compassion for yourself. And over time, you'll discover something beautiful. The overthinking that once controlled you now passes through you like clouds through the sky. You're no longer at its mercy. You've found the peace that was always yours. Not by fighting your mind, but by understanding it. Not by stopping thoughts, but by changing your relationship with them. This is the Buddha's gift. This is the path. This is freedom. And it starts right now with this breath, with this moment, with this choice to practice. If these teachings resonated with you, share them with someone who's trapped in overthinking. Subscribe for more Buddhist wisdom, and comment below, which teaching will you practice this week? Until we meet again, stay present, stay compassionate, stay free. Your mind will keep thinking. But you, the real you, the awareness behind all the thinking, you are already at peace. Namaste.